and I came and I enjoyed it, and I found it aligned with a lot of my ideas about what the world needs. I think the world needs to identify youth and talent and encourage leadership, because we are in great need of leadership, and we are in great need of addressing some very serious challenges, and the challenges can only be solved by smart, hardworking, committed people. So an opportunity to contribute to the development of a group of those people seemed to me to be very welcome. I came here, as you say, it was 2017. Since then I've left Hong Kong and moved to my present job in Edinburgh, and I've been invited to come back. I think this is not the first time I've been invited back, but it's the first time I've been able to come. And although this time my time was limited and I could only come for a short time, I felt it was worth it, because as I said earlier on in my speech, I admire these people and I envy them. I wish I was at an early stage of my career, because although the world is full of challenges, I think there are very exciting opportunities for people. So I'm happy to contribute to what I think is a very worthwhile exercise. In terms of my presentation, other people would have to answer whether it was helpful or not, but I hope that I combined giving benefit of my experience, because I am now quite experienced in different leadership roles in different parts of the world, but also explaining to people that I don't know all the answers. This is a complex subject where there are always choices to be made, there's always priorities to be decided, and I think the more they understand that from an early stage in their leadership career, the more successful they will be as leaders. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. It's worth it at the time in terms of the experience and hearing from speakers and getting to meet new people, but I also think it's worth it afterwards. I think the kind of cohort effect that you can get from introducing people from different parts of the world to each other, maybe sharing some experiences, including social experiences and whatnot, that you get when you physically come to a conference, I think that can be very powerful. So I would hope that as well as the actual value of the conference itself, there's also some value afterwards with the connections that people have made, with the friendships that they've made. I can remember examples myself when I went to particular meetings or particular conferences and I met somebody and I talked to them, and it's turned into a very productive long-term relationship. So I think there's still quite a lot to be said for the physical bringing together of people, especially young people. Although young people are very good at digital communications and at talking to people thousands of miles away from them online, I still think there's some value in actually spending time together, physically together. So I think it's a very worthwhile conference, and I think having it in the UN Conference Centre gives us sort of additional prestige, which is interesting. And most of these people will know about the United Nations, but they won't necessarily have been to a United Nations building. So I think that combination is very powerful. I think it takes courage. So I think there's a sort of easy path, which is to say it's somebody else's problem and I can't fix anything, I can't influence it, so therefore I'll leave it to somebody else. And obviously not everybody can take on leadership positions or wants to take on leadership positions, but the world needs leaders, and probably needs leaders now more than ever. So I think it does take courage. I think it takes an acceptance that there is risk. So I was saying this to some of the people that were asking me questions afterwards. People say they're frightened of the consequences of getting it wrong and of making a bad decision. Well, of course, that's important. It's very important to be careful in your judgments and in your decisions. But on the other hand, if you don't ever take any risk, you won't ever get anything done, and so the world will never change for the better. So I think somehow balancing the risks and the opportunities is the key. And I think these are a very highly selected group of delegates. These are not just ordinary people. They've already been selected either by their government or by their universities, so they're already identified as people with leadership potential. And I think bringing them together and helping their education and helping them to learn from other people in other parts of the world is a very important activity. So I think giving them the confidence to take on leadership roles and take some risks. And a theme that you heard me talk about before is learning from mistakes. I think we all make mistakes. And I think the ability to, first of all, recognize that you will make mistakes, but secondly, to learn from them and try to not make them again, and try to help others not to make the same mistakes. I think that's a really important part of leadership development.